It is the College Football Level Up Podcast. Big G in the building with my girl, Sarah C. Sarah C, that intro's still big trash. We got to get that thing fixed to get your picture on there. I just saw it just now. I'm like, Lord have mercy. But listen, we're in the building. We got some different type of folks jumping in. Derpy Entertainment was cracking after jumping in. Listen, y'all, week one on the Level Up College Football Podcast was off the freaking chain. It was a great show. It was a banger. But this week, we're here to talk about week two, the level up for week two. But I can't do none of this unless I kick it to my co-host first. Sarah C., what's crack-a-lacking, girl? What's going on with you? And I know you're ready to talk college football.
Oh, yes, I am. It was quite the week. It was extremely exciting. I mean, our game started off great. I got a little nervous near the end, but I really was excited with just watching everyone play. There were some really good games, though, later on in that day. And some pretty big surprises. So I'm really, really excited for this season, and I'm really excited to see who actually can come out of this.
Sarah, did you really get nervous?
I'm a Steelers fan, so come on. Yeah. I'm nervous constantly.
yeah, we have PTSD for real. Any Steeler fan got PTSD for real. But listen, it was a great weekend of football, Sarah. I mean,
it really was.
Even before we get to the recap, I mean, I just really do believe wholeheartedly it was a great weekend. I mean, the games all the way, and I think here in a little bit, in about an hour, we're going to have a pretty good game with North Carolina and with TCU. But the games were just like bangers. There was some of those games like the Georgias, and because they played my Mary Mother Grace and the Penn States, they didn't play anybody. But the teams that actually lined up and played football, because, I mean, we won't even get to, to recap some of them, like South Carolina and all, Vatech. That was a great game.
That was a good game.
That was a great freaking game. So I'm just so glad that the weekend started off with a banger, because that's going to make the college football season a great season this year, man. Your thoughts, Sarah? What you think?
Agreed. Oh, very much agreed. And it's kind of nice to see these teams in the SEC that are really taking over a little bit. These newer teams in the SEC seem to be getting a little bit more name now than the old school ones. I mean, Georgia still is a powerhouse, but we'll see what they actually do when they play someone real. But yeah. Bama looked a little beatable, and that was a lot.
My phone looked backwards. That's crazy. I got to flip the thing around. It's all right.
But those two new teams in the SEC, they both looked really good this past. I mean, Texas may have lost, but they still have a lot of greatness on them. And I think it came down to, being a little bit better prepared on one end. But I'm excited to see what Oklahoma can do this year. Truly. I know it seems weird, but I'm really, really excited for this season, because there's a lot of teams that have shown that they really are trying to play for the number, to get in. Yeah.
Sarah, listen, we're going to do right. We'll recap it, and we're going to try our best not to put the Homer thing on,
Yes.
But we'll recap and review some of the games the preview from the last week, those 4 games, right? So I'm going to start it off with the Notre Dame-Miami game. I think that we thought we was going to see a different Notre Dame team than what we actually saw. And I think that, in my opinion, Sarah, I think that Carson Beck showed that he might be the Carson Beck of 2023. Yep. And I think that Miami has shown that some of those players that was these 5-star recruits that's from South Florida have finally showed up and was willing to play. But I don't think it's an indictment against Marcus Freeman, I think just Miami was ready to play. What you think is, Sarah, concerning Notre Dame and Miami?
I agree. I think that Miami really came out with guns a-blazing. I literally, watching Beck, I was like, oh, okay, this was the kid that was supposed to be going to the draft last year, gonna be the number 1 guy in the Heisman contention. He showed his resilience, he showed his experience, and he showed that he knows how to win a game. And I think that says a little bit about Mario Cristobal. Maybe he's finally getting his bearings down there in coaching, because I just feel like he just hasn't shown enough right now. I mean, he definitely had a team last year, but I mean, they lived and died by Cam Ward. If Cam Ward had a bad game, they didn't have anything else. And I think that now they're learning how to build this team a little bit more. And I think that Beck is the right guy to have back there. And truly, I just think Notre Dame you have a inexperienced QB. I don't think he looked bad. I don't think he looked great. I was very surprised how little they used Love, which I think might be something that I would question more than anything. But I think that this is more of a star on Miami than a thumbs down on Notre Dame personally. I just think that Miami really came out to play, and they really wanted to show that, hey, we mean something. And after Clemson's losing, so they're like, okay, now we can be the ACC top team. So, we'll see. I mean, it's week 1. So
yeah, it is. But it was a huge game. It was a top 10 matchup.
Yeah.
And Sarah, this is just my thinking too. I might be dead wrong, but I think that all the Florida teams are good. I think that Miami's good. I think, and we're going to talk about Florida State here in a minute, but I think they're great. I think Florida is good, and I think the University of Southern Florida is good. University of Central Florida and University of Southern Florida. I think they're all good teams. I
agree. I'm actually excited for that USF game this week.
Yeah, big time game because DJ Lagway's a dog, but there's another quarterback on the other squad, and we'll talk about it. Hey, so Sarah, the shocker was Florida State, Alabama. I don't care what nobody says. There's nobody. I mean, shout out to Lee Corso. Man, you was great for us. Without Lee Corso, there would be no us, right? So we got to give love and shout out to Lee Corso. But Lee Corso picked all the games correctly, every last one of them, right? Including saying that Florida State was going to beat the living hell out of Alabama. And listen, it's like he got into that crystal ball. He was like, woo-wee, because they beat the living hell out of Alabama. Your thoughts concerning Florida State and Alabama in the shocker of the weekend?
Castellanos has got some cojones on him because, he came out real early and was like, nope, they're not the same. And you know what? I think they might be proving him right. But I also think that he looked just so comfortable back there. They had so much different type of movement in that team. They were super, super physical, which is what really, really impressed me more than anything.
Facts.
How physical they were. And I was really, and the defense, even though the offense was probably the star because of who they have on that side, but that defense really, really put up some really great pressure on Simpson and really showed that, dude, you're starting off with a tough team and now you're going to walk into the SEC and you're going to get even more and more pressure. So wait until your rest of your season happens. So I was very impressed by the FSU. I think that Norvell really went into that transfer portal and really pick and choose a little bit more. I can't think of the word, but just was a little bit more picky, I guess, would be how I say. He really picked some really great guys. But I think this Castellanos kid is the right kind of guy for that FSU team. They need that little bit of cockiness, little bit of attitude because they haven't had it, or even just some talent since I would even go back as far as having someone like Winston back there. Because that kid had that moxie. He had that extra little something. And when you have someone leading your team like that, you can see how everyone else is going to rally behind him and play really well. And I think that really showed against that Bama team, which I think needs a little bit of help. And I was very, very upset at how not great that offensive line looked when they came in, being the number one offensive line supposedly this season. So what's going on there? And how long are you going to be able to survive without Jam Miller? Because you really can't do this running backs by committee right now. So
right. Their offensive line supposedly, Sarah, had five stars, including the guy that transferred back, Proctor from Iowa, right? Who they got him back. They paid him a boatload of money to bring him back from Iowa back to Alabama. That offensive line did not look like the Alabama offensive line from even last year, but definitely 2 years ago. And Florida State, like you said, you did an outstanding job by pointing out that they hit the portal and got the players that could run their scheme. Their scheme was critical because I don't think Simpson knew which way the blitz was coming. The defensive coordinator for Florida State lined them guys up, and he was like, okay, I just get to the quarterback. That's all that freaking matters. So the scheme, and I think that they really have two techniques on the inside with Florida State. The one kid looks like a tree stump. He's 6'1", 330 pounds. And he's just as tall as he is wide. So I was like, oh yeah, there's a guy in there that's causing havoc because they can't move him. And then I saw those defenders just hit those different gaps and cause all kind of pressure. But Colisteos, listen, we thought DJ Langway was going to be a level up, and this is the Level Up College Football Podcast. But nah, Colisteos is like Jordan Travis, and that's what they needed to get that swagger back in Florida State. So I think I'm not going to say Bama's dead, but I'm going to say Florida State is back. I'm going to say Florida. And listen, the ACC
is up for grabs.
Yeah, it's like that, Sarah. All right, we got 2 more to preview, and then we're going to take a break. Clemson versus LSU. I thought might have been the game of the weekend until the Notre Dame game came on. You had 2 possible first-round draft picks, and Nussmeier and K. Klubnik. You had Dabo running down the hill with the rock. He was talking big cash money before the game. But, Sarah, all of us said Brian Kelly can't do it, and he did it, Sarah. That was the game we picked wrong. What do you think got in the hell in Brian Kelly, or is it just that he did well with the portal, and now look what he has on defense? Because that defense of LSU was rocking. They was rocking, Sarah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He went into that portal and knew what he needed. He needed to build that defense. That defense did not look good last year and just would let so many points by. And I think he's finally like, okay, he's up for his job this year. If he doesn't do anything, if he doesn't at least make it into the playoffs this year, there's no way he's going to be there next year. I think that they really knew what they were doing. And even though they lost some pretty decent guys in the portal, which one did actually play really well the other day with Lacey. But I think that, I think this is Kelly just pretty much knew exactly what he needed to build on, and he built on that defense. And they just stuffed Clemson. Clemson had little highlights and stuff like that. Like, it definitely wasn't like Nussmeier or anyone on the offense came out. Like, they kept that game super, super close, but the defense is the reason why they won that game, which is not anything that you could say personally about a Brian Kelly team ever.
Yeah.
So that was what impressed me the most.
Yeah. The return of Harold Perkins wearing the Honey Badger 7 number was big. I was super impressed with 40 and 44, the inside linebackers of LSU. Oh, my God. Those kids were flying around and making plays, man. But this is what I'm going to say about Clemson. When they lost Williams, their number 1 wide receiver, I swear, I was talking to my son-in-laws and my family and all whatever else, and I said, this game's over. I said, because I don't think Clemson has the players on the outside to attack a defense. And they didn't. Clemson does not have any wide receivers. I think they got a good offensive line. I think they have a first-round quarterback. I think they got a decent defense, but they don't have a way to attack the opposing team's defense. And I saw that. I was like, oh, no. They can't. In my opinion, Sarah, Clemson cannot be considered for the playoff until they fix that wide receiver. That's just my thinking. They have to fix the wide receiver room because they couldn't get after them vertically. Everything was little short routes. They caught a couple of wheel routes on the outside. They caught a crossing route 1 or 2 times in the middle, but nothing deep, nothing vertical. And that's the flaw, I think, for Clemson this year. What are your thoughts about that?
I agree. I didn't pick out that as much as I was more impressed with the LSU thing. And what I didn't mention, and this was the part that I think was the part that made me the most impressed with them, was the 4th and 4 stoppage, because that wouldn't have happened last year.
That's facts.
Like, that was never going to happen last year. He would have never pulled that off in all of his time there. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to go back to that because that was probably the thing that impressed me the most, because I looked at that ending and I'm like, oh, he's going to blow it again. This is going to be another LSU year where he just can't figure it out. He doesn't know what exactly the identity of his team is. And that's the other thing. I think he was putting an identity on this team than he's ever had before, because not only do you have the strength in your QB and everything like that, but you also are showing that you can actually stuff these teams. And if you're going to be an SEC team, those are the 2 things you need to show.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, listen, I just had to go back.
Oh, you're right. You're right. The third down. So what's critical and early for all you guys that watch us for our college football content and listen to us for our college football content, what's critical in early seasons is the play of the defense. And how you know if a defense is actually playing is you have to look at the 3rd down percentages and the 4th down percentages. And when a team is under like 20 to 25% for 3rd down, and they're like 1 of 3 or 1 of 4 if they go for it on 4th down, more than likely the opposing team won. So the 3rd down and 4th down percentages was horrible for the game for Clemson. They couldn't get a 3rd down to save their damn life. And that kept Clemson's defense on the field to where conversely LSU, not in the first half, but in the second half, was able to complete third downs and they was able to push the ball forward because the majority of LSU scoring, if not all their scoring, came in the second half, Sarah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, facts. All right. So last thing we got to recap. The big one, right? Now, none of us got the score right, but 2 out of the 3 people on the panel got the winning team right? Now, I'm not, I ain't trying to brag, but I got my Buckeye coat on and my Buckeye hat, and I'm sitting here with my Buckeye trophy, and my Buckeye mug is right there to the right of me.
I got Buckeye nails.
Buckeye nails. Sarah. I hate to say this, we whooped their ass. It wasn't even close. Not to me. 14-0 with 4 minutes to go in the game, and they got a late score. It wasn't close. But I just want to get your just recap about it, and we'll break some positions down, and then we'll take a commercial break. What you thinking, Sarah?
I mean, I was most impressed by our defense. And again, I think, and you brought this up in the thing, and I don't know if we were going to do something separate, but like these defenses this week were just so dominant. And it was really nice to see because you see this so much in the NFL, because in the NFL, it's always about trying to figure out exactly, how to read these defenses. And it takes them weeks and weeks and weeks to figure out. And I think that really showed on Manning's side because he was showing a lot of his looks. And that defense could read every little thing that he was doing, and they were making the right plays that they needed to. And I was very impressed with Patricia's play calling on that defense because he wasn't like being conservative in any which way or shape or form. And I know that was one of the things that we were nervous about. And I think that we were conservative on offense, which was the right thing to do. I was very impressed with CJ Donaldson, the transfer. Yeah. I was surprised that he was the one that was getting the most carries, but I was really impressed with his explosiveness. And it was really great to see that we can end up with another 1-2 punch possibly, which I was really happy with. But I really was impressed with that defense. I was impressed with all the different types of schemes where he was putting all of these people. I mean, you heard Styles' names, you heard Downs' names, you heard the names, but no one was like the stars because he literally built that entire scheme around every single one of them. The coverage on those wide receivers. And that was the one thing that I was impressed with on Texas is that coverage on our wide receivers was definitely there. And I think that they just need a little bit more time. Manning definitely looked scared in the beginning, definitely looked unprepared, and he needed his timing. And that's the thing that you're going to have with these guys. That's why I think that Sark probably should have been a little bit more conservative on that end and been a little bit more on that, really stuffing it on the defense because Sayin went in there. Sayin didn't have a great game, but he did exactly what he needed to do. He didn't make dumb mistakes, and he knew who he needed to give that ball to. And I think that's why they used Donaldson so much. And I know that's, people are saying that Smith looked mad or whatever. And you know what? Yeah, he does look mad because he's the best player on that field. And he wasn't being used. But in the end, he wants to win. And that's all that really matters. And I think that, for as much as I say bad about Dave for almost all the time, I really think that he's got this in this team. I really feel like this is his team. Like this is the team that he has been building for a while after this championship. Like he got that finally over, and now he wants to win with the guys that he has recruited, that he has built this team around. And he's really got some really, really good guys on both sides of the ball. And I'm very impressed with what he's done. And again, like I said, with Texas, I think that their defense is definitely in the right direction. I think that they know what they're doing. I think that they just need to tighten some things up. I'm a little nervous about that offense. I don't like the fact that Arch didn't know who the heck he was throwing to half the time. He didn't seem to have a number one receiver. And that running game didn't seem to really set off. And he didn't break out until the second half. So I'm really intrigued to see what Sark can do with these upcoming weeks where they don't have these top ranked opponents, and really see if they can build something back to whenever they start playing their SEC opponents.
Facts. Big punishment. Bro, I see what you're talking about in the live chat. Talking about, is this another Ohio State slobber fest? No. That's why you need to tune in when the show started, because this was our 4th review, and we're going to get to some other college football. But you're lucky right now. I don't feel like putting nobody in the matrix because it's a holiday, and it's Labor Day. So we got to give you a break when laboring, because I don't feel like putting nobody in the matrix right now. But you lucky, bro. One more comment out of you, buddy. And it's adios muchachos to the Matrix, man. Pun, but I do agree with this too, man. You had a very impressive game, and we talked about that if you listen to the rewind. Hey, first of all, before I give my closing thoughts with the Ohio State game and Texas game, I just want to give a shout out to all the people in the live chat: Afton, Derpy Entertainment, Juice Bellamy, Jaime Carlo, Valley Ford, Andre Green, Stiller Lee, Afton, girl, what's happening? Chat General, J Steve, Jake, new to the chat, man. What's going on, Jake? Great to see you here with the show. Gavin Anthony, Big Punishment. We got a lot of people in here, man. We appreciate all you guys supporting the Level Up College Football Show. And we're live every Monday at 6 p.m. Big Pun, that's why you need to be here on time, because you miss a lot of good content for that first 20 minutes. So I'm going to say my last point about the Ohio State Buckeyes, because I haven't really talked about it. I know there's some things that I called. I know I told you guys on the podcast last week that Arvell Reese would be a huge factor. He was our best defender. I know I told you guys last week, what in the world is Arch Manning going to do when Matt Patricia gives him a 4-3 front and the defensive end, be it if it's C.J. Hicks or Jackson, stands straight up and Caleb Downs walks down in the box. Now he doesn't know where the pressure's coming from and he couldn't recognize the defense. What are you going to do when he flips schematically and you think he's in cover 2 and he goes to cover 3? What are you going to do when you think he's in cover 2 and he moves to a single high look? This is what was going on from a schematic standpoint from Matt Patricia. They didn't have any film on him. And Matt Patricia, I don't know why certain people, I won't say who's on the show, but certain people thought that with no film from a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator was not going to give Arch Manning the fits. It absolutely gave him fits. Number 2, I'm going to say, and I mean this wholeheartedly, Arch Manning is the most overhyped college football player I've ever seen in my life. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he won't be a pro. But they was deeming this dude the second coming. I heard Paul Feinbaum and all them other trash people over there at ESPN talking about he's the best quarterback since Tim Tebow, and he's this, and this, and this, and this. No, he's not. He's an average quarterback that has to learn to play the position. Now, I do talking about Texas. Oh, last thing about Texas, too. I got to say this. Colin Simmons was talking all that yak about how much pressure they was going to put on Julian Sand. Did they sack him one time? Was the boy clean the whole game? Listen, his jersey, they could take his jersey off and hang it back in the locker and put it right back on him next week, and they don't even need to wash it because he never touched the dirt. So all of that talk about what Texas was going to do, nah, it just ain't it. Conversely, Ryan Day, you got to let that young fella play. I'm glad that Ryan Day came out in the press conference and admitted that there was more that Sand could have done because he missed some passes. But the offense has to help him. You can't have the drops that they had with Klein, Brandon Enos, and, oh, God, Jeremiah Smith with 2 drops. You just can't have that. We got to help this young quarterback. So, in my mind, Sarah, the Buckeyes is the best team in the country as of today. I just want to see, based on what we saw, if you had to list the top 5 right now, who'll be your top 5 based on what we saw over the weekend?
I'm not putting them in order because I don't know if I can do that. But I would definitely say Ohio State. I'm definitely putting LSU up there now. I would probably end up putting the U up there.
Yep.
There was, trying to see where I don't have my old rankings, so that's like where I'm having a little bit of trouble. I would say probably, I don't want to say top 5, but I was really impressed by Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, they threw the ball vertically. Absolutely. So your top 5 is Miami, Ohio State, LSU, Tennessee, and who's your 15?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to probably still have to put Penn State. It's not like they did anything to impress me, but they didn't do anything to, make anything look worse. So they're still ranked in the top 5.
Yeah, live chat, make sure you put your top 5. I see Stiller Lee put his up already. He said Ohio State, LSU, Miami, Georgia, Penn State. I ain't mad at you, bro. Sarah, this is my top 5. I'd rank Ohio State 1. I'd rank LSU 2. I would rank Florida State 3.
Okay, you're putting.
I'd rank Miami 4, and I'd rank Penn State number 5. If I had to do it right now today, I think Florida State is going to be the Cinderella story of the year. The team that we all thought Mike Norvell was going to get fired, they're loaded. Now, we got a long way to go. And I got to say this too, Sarah. South Carolina ain't too far out that top 5.
Oh, no. They need a little bit of polish.
Their wide receivers got to help them.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Listen, I don't care what nobody say. Lenore Sellers had one of the best games over the weekend. But the wide receivers got to help them. They got to catch the ball. Lenore Sellers look great.
Made me think of you though, because I read an article where someone tried to compare him to Big Ben and just said he's faster. So I thought that would make you happy.
Sarah, if we draft Lenore Sellers as our quarterback, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry on air because I think he's the perfect fit. He's a fast big man with a rocket. So I don't know. I just but that's a long way away. We're talking college football. We can't talk NFL right now. Pun, I like that. He said to you, LSU, that's big trash, Pun. You got Ohio State 5th. I mean, the defending national champions just beat the number 1 team in the country. You got them 5th, punishment. You know what, Sarah? I normally don't do this on this podcast. I just can't help myself today, punishment. I just can't, because I cannot believe that you said that the Buckeyes should be the number 5 team in the country. You're lucky I'm having technical difficulties right now with my mouse, because I swear to God, oh, there we go. The mouse done came back up. Punishment. Hey, man, we appreciate you, dog, but we know where you got ahead, man. Come on, mouse. Don't stop acting up. Hold on, Sarah. Bye, punishment. That's big trash. Let's go, man.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? But oh, well, what you got? Gold and you got gold.
Yeah, punishment. We sit you around the horn, dog. I mean, it's not that personal, man. But there's no way in God's green earth you could say that Ohio State is the 5th best ranked team in the country, considering that they were number 3 and they just beat the number 1 overall team. I mean, I get you. I get the bias, man, but I understand. Hey, man, we got a lot of comments with the top ranked teams and what they liking, man. I like that, man. Well, I appreciate you. Valley knew what time it was. Yeah, it was Matrix time for punishment. All right, Sarah, we got to take a break, pay some bills, pause for the cause. Wherever you get your podcast, college football podcast, your audio, Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you get it, make sure that you listen to it. But make sure that you continue to come back in live and watch the Level Up College Football Podcast exclusively on YouTube on the KnoItAllz channel every Monday at 6 o'clock. We're going to take a break. Just give us a second, and we'll be right back with part 2 and the segue of the Level Up College Football Podcast. And we're back with the pause from the cause. Sitting with my girl, Sarah C., talking college football, Level Up College Football Podcast every Monday live on the KnoItAllz Podcast channel, exclusively on YouTube. Listen, y'all, we appreciate all you guys rocking with us. We only need like about 30 subs to get us to the 1K on the YouTube channel, but we can't do it without you guys. So please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get it. Give us a 5-star rating. And make sure that you talk about the KnoItAllz to your friends, because you can come to the channel and get a lot of things. But if you come on Mondays to the channel, we're going to be talking exclusively college football. So, Sarah, what's up, girl? What's cracking with you?
Well, nothing much. Just even more excited about talking about all of this football. It's finally fall weather. It's my favorite time of year. Yeah,
facts. Oh, you see what Jaime said? Jaime said, let's go. I was going to rank FSU in the top 5, but I thought I was going to be biased until my man G said it. FSU for real. FSU for real. Jaime, I ain't mad at you. For real, man. And Jake said, what? Big pun, OSU is college football's daddy right now. Stop the crap. That's facts. That's big facts. They the big daddy. They the big daddy right now. And it's okay. Everybody goes through their seasons, but you know, Sarah, you know how we get them haters out there. You know how we get the haters. You know how it happens. All right, so listen. I'm not going to ask this question. I was going to ask about why the defenses are ahead of the offenses, but I think we're going to go into the preview because I want to talk about the games, because I think we can get into that conversation concerning why the defenses are ahead and what we look to see in week 2. Maybe a switch where the offenses start taking over. Okay. So week 1, first game on the docket. University of South Florida versus the Florida Gators. Listen, this is going to be a banger. I'm telling you right now, South Florida, Central Florida, Florida State, Miami, and Florida are all dogs. I watched all 5 of them play over the weekend, and all 5 of them can play. All 5 of them can play. All 5 of them have superior quarterback play. All 5 of them have good defenses. But we're talking about South Florida and Florida State right now. Sarah, set it up. What you like about the game, what you want to see concerning this game.
I want to see what USF can do against another top-ranked team. I'm really, really intrigued to see how they can play. I'm really, really liked their quarterback. I think that he just seems to have a little bit of that explosiveness to him. It's really nice to see that on, in a smaller, Power 5 team, because they beat the team that everyone thought was going to come out of that area. And I'm thinking maybe they're going to actually probably end up being one of the favorites now if they can continue to play well. They
didn't just beat them, Sarah. They beat the hell out of them. It wasn't even close. It wasn't close. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
With Florida, I'm hoping that DJ can make it through the whole game. I was trying to read, and no, everyone's saying that he's going to be starting, but then when I was looking up stats and everything like that, they were showing their freshman quarterback as the starter. So I really, really hope that he's able to play. I hope that he's going to be healthy enough. I know that, he's still coming off of a rough end of last year just because of injury, not because of his play, because I was very impressed by his play. So I'm very much intrigued to see what he can do this week if he is going to be in. But I'm actually more intrigued by the whole USF thing. I think that if they can pull off another upset, I think that really gives them a lot of, momentum into the rest of the season, because they play in the American division, which isn't super, super competitive, but there are a couple good teams in there. So I think that it would be nice to see someone different in that conversation, because I feel like we always end up with the same teams out of the Power 5. So I'm very, very intrigued to see that. And like I said, I'm always intrigued to see what Florida can do. I'm not I will never say that I'm a Gators fan, but I am a DJ Lagway fan. So that is the only thing that makes me want to see them pull off a really good game.
Yeah.
But those are the 2 things that I definitely see. I didn't get enough watch out of the Florida game. I did watch the USF game a decent amount because it was kind of on its own. So I was very much impressed by that team a lot.
I'm doing stuff in the background right now, Sarah, because my boy B Dirt talking about he didn't get the. Can you forward it to him? Because I sure want to get him in here when we talk about the Michigan podcast. So absolutely, if you can, I appreciate it. So hopefully he'll get it here in a minute. So, okay, hold on 1 second. I got my boy Richard. He said he want to jump in just to talk a little bit too. So it's all right. All right. So listen. I believe that South Florida will give Florida a run for the money. I believe that there's not that much depth. Not that much difference between the depth of the blue chip rating between Florida State, between University of South Florida and University of Florida. The difference is DJ Langway. So if DJ Langway shows up and plays, I predict Florida to win. But if DJ Langway is 60%, 65%, 70%, what they're talking about concerning is injury right now.
Yeah.
Sarah, I don't know. So, but I do know this. I know that Florida's coach is fighting for his life. So he can't afford to lose any games. Not right off the bat, especially to a team that's not considered a Power 4. Right? They're a Power 5, but they're not considered a Power 4. So, to say all that, Sarah, what do you got for a score?
Sorry, I was forwarding that for us. So
yeah.
You forgot
it to
E. Yes, because you forgot E in his last name.
Yeah, my bad. I got you.
I was gonna go with probably on the mid-level type of scoring. I don't think it's gonna be a super high scoring like USF had last week, just because I think that Florida has a little bit more defense behind them. So I was going with a 24-17, and I'm actually calling the upset if DJ doesn't play.
Whoa. So what's your score again?
24-17.
And who you got? The Gators or the University?
I went with the Bulls.
Ooh,
I don't know. I like I said, I like DJ. I just don't know. Like you said, there's no confidence in his health right now from what I can tell right now. And it's so earlier in the week. So right now I'm going to go with the hot team and the team that I can trust more than the team that I know has the capability, but I don't know if they're all going to be playing on that field.
Hey,
you have the receivers.
Yeah, I'm with it. And that's what I wanted to point out too, because everybody was crying and talking about that the kid for Miami had to catch it the weekend. He did. But if you get a chance to go back and watch that catch that Eugene Wilson III had for Florida, wide receiver, oh my God. I mean, I think all these kids actually think and feel and believe that they're Odell Beckham, because we're seeing those type of catches in college football. And his catch was just as impressive as the Miami kid's catch, man. So, Sarah, something is telling me that there's an upset brewing in week 2. I don't, Sarah, I get with my gut when I be like, man, it's time. And I think this might be outside, because I don't think the Florida State game was an upset over Bama, but I think this will be the first upset of the year. I'm calling it. I'm with you. University of South Florida beats the Florida Gators 28-24. And it's going to shake up what we actually think and feel concerning Power 5 and A, B, C, and D. I just feel it in my spirit, something about them, something about that coach. And by the way, Charlie Strong, you should take a bow, because you have cleaned up both of these programs. You cleaned up Florida after Urban Meyer left out of there, and you cleaned up the University of South Florida. So I take a bow for both of them, man. I appreciate it. All right, now, Sarah, we got the second game, which is a rival, and it's not an in-conference rival. And I think I know I'm going to pick in this game too. They play for, what's it called, the Cy-Hawk? Iowa and Iowa State, they play for the Cy-Hawk Trophy out in the middle of freaking Iowa. I mean, I think the game this year is in Ames. Last year, I think it was in where Iowa plays their home games, but I think this year is in Ames. So
Yes,
it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's out in the middle of nowhere, right? Iowa State looked pretty good when they played Kansas State. Iowa State looked like they go to quarterback, but Iowa looks pretty good. So what you thinking concerning Iowa and Iowa State?
I think that if you're going to look at these teams right now, I think Iowa State has just a little bit of the leverage over Iowa. I think Iowa has, did well, but their biggest weakness right now still is at this QB position. I know that they got this transfer in, and he's supposed to be the best quarterback they've had in a really long time. I mean, they definitely still had it on the run game and everything like that. But Iowa State with Beck, I think, is just really showing that this kid really, really wants to prove that he is up for this Big 12 player, of the year type of thing. Like, this kid just the Big 12 is actually becoming a little bit more interesting this season. I think that these teams that are coming out from that conference are really trying to show that they can compete. I think that it'll be a good showing if they can beat a Big 10 team. I know that Iowa isn't a stronghold on the Big 10, but it still is a Big 10 team. They still play like a lot of the Big 10 teams. They just don't have as much of the talent because, they're a little bit lower on the totem pole when it comes to that. So I really want to see what this kid can do against a team that actually knows how to stuff them and stuff like that. But he's been super dominant in these past 2 showings, and I just think that he's ready for the little bit of the limelight. And you know what? They haven't won in years against this team. So I think that it's kind of like a, hey, it's finally our time type of deal. And I think last year they started off, doing really well, and they kind of fell off. And I think that they're trying to prove it that they weren't just a one-year wonder in this college football playoff type of contention. And I'm really, really want to see what this kid can do. And I'm going with them.
You go, Sarah, I ain't mad at you. Rocco Beck, big pun, you're absolutely correct. Rocco Beck is a winner. He is a winner. There's no doubt about it. But Sarah, you sort of said it. Is the Big 12 soft compared to the Big 10? I mean, when you look about returning starters for Iowa's team last year, they had no quarterback. They lost Caleb Johnson, all-world running back. The senior grad transfer, Mike Gronkowski, quarterback, is supposed to be pretty good. He actually can throw the ball, but he transferred from South Dakota State University, which is it was a D1 AA school. So we don't really know what he's going to look like in big games until actually they play the game. We've seen Rocco back. We've seen Rocco back. We saw what he looked against a top 25 team in Kansas State. And I love Iowa State's coach, man. I mean, I'm talking about this guy has what you call intestinal fortitude. And he's not scared to do non-traditional things to put his team in a position to win. I mean, just the game against Kansas State alone, he could have kicked a field goal and there would have been like a minute left, and then they would have just had to lean on their defense. But he was like, nah, I'm going to go for it all, try to score, and just put the game out of reach. And that's why I think that Iowa State has the advantage. I think that Iowa State should be the clear favorite in the Pac-12, in the Pac-12. I'm not the Pac-12, the Big 12. I think they should be the clear favorite. Like, I mean, I like Arizona State. I like Baylor, who got blown out. I like Kansas. But nah, I think we got a clear favorite. Clear favorite. Here go, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. I got to add my boy B-Dirt to the podcast. He's definitely going to be here to talk about the Michigan thing. B-Dirt, man, what's up, man? We're talking about Iowa and Iowa State right now, bro.
What's going on, man? Iowa State. Thank you, G. After you talked me into taking them over Kansas State, won the first bet of the year.
Yeah.
Took them on a money line. It was a good
Hey,
hit.
man. Hey, man, they say some people say I'm this, that, and this. But, Dirt, you should know, man, when it comes to college football, G know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I listened, and I was like, I kind of like this. I like this. And Kansas State proving you right. They look pretty bad this week, too.
They should have lost. They played a D1 AA team and got blasted. So get them out of here, man. All right. So listen, Sarah picked Iowa State. I picked Iowa State. I think the Big Ten is going to take a lump, Dirt. You think the Big Ten's taking a lump, and you think Iowa State pulls it off?
I do, and man, is it time for a coaching change in Iowa?
Oh,
Dirt, I don't know, bro. You tell me.
I don't know. It seems pretty putrid to me.
Yeah, you just can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and that's what they do in Iowa.
Yeah,
they lean on the defense, they run the ball, they have no fortitude. But the issue is you got to get players. When Iowa was good, Iowa will recruit the state of Ohio and the state of Michigan real tough.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that anymore, and so that's why I don't think you see guys want to go out there and play anymore. They were like the guys that Ohio State and Michigan shunned. They would go play for Iowa, but you don't see that anymore. So I just don't know. But I think Rocco Beck is the real deal. I think he should be in consideration for their conference player of the year. And I got Iowa State winning big. I got Iowa State winning 31-17, Dirt.
I would say 10. I would say by 10. So I'm in the ballpark. 14, 10. 2 scores.
Yeah, Iowa does keep sending. They send defensive players to the NFL. Tight ends, defensive player, and every now and then they get a running back.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they send to the league. So that's true, still a league.
And a big ugly here and there.
Yeah, every now and then. All right, so we got Kansas and Missouri before we preview the big game of the weekend. Jaden Daniels is not to be played with. Missouri lost their starting quarterback. He might be out for the season. But the backup, who's the transfer from Penn State University, came in and looked like he was all world, right? But Kansas, man, this is their first test, but they're healthy and they're rolling and they got big bread. And Kansas is sneaky, man. But I want to get you guys' opinion concerning Kansas and Missouri. Dirt, since you just jumped in, I'm gonna start with you. What you thinking? Can you give me a score? Are you locking in on it? Because you bet money, so that's what you do. So you can tell them which way to go, man.
When we talked in the season previews, I think Kansas has a little bit of that special sauce where those guys could have went pro. Some people could have left or whatever. I know they're replacing a running back with a kind of a running back by committee with a couple guys there, but that quarterback coming back and some of those guys returning, I think gives them the edge, just experience-wise, and they won it. They came back because they won it, and that means something, especially in college football. So I give Kansas the edge here. I think they'll pull this one out. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I think it's 28-20, something like that.
Sarah, what you thinking?
So I'm kind of in the same realm as Brandon. I think that definitely Kansas is really showing that they, are really putting in the juice on their game. But and I think Missouri definitely has the players. I think that Pagula was able to come in and show that he actually should have been probably the starting quarterback from the beginning. But from what I was, doing a little bit of my research and everything like that is, that they have him and they seem to have a solid core, but their biggest blemish was penalties. And I think that this Kansas team can kind of run all over them whenever it comes down to that, because if Missouri continuously makes these minor mistakes, Kansas is going to get the yardage, and Jalen Daniels definitely knows how to score. I mean, the kid already has 7 touchdowns in literally a game and a half.
Facts.
So I don't think
total fact.
Yeah. So I think that it's going to come down to that. I think it's going to come down to Jalen Daniels pulling off some really great throws and some really great scoring drives, and whether or not Missouri can, be mistake-free. I didn't go with as big of a difference, but I definitely think it's probably going to be something probably in the realm of like 28-21. So still a win. And still a decent win. But I definitely think Missouri is going to try and put up some points. But I definitely think that this Jalen Daniels, if he can do it this week, then he's definitely proving that he's actually worth something.
A really good win at plus 190, by the way. I'll just throw that out there.
Plus 190. That's a big time win.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be
They're
nice.
6-point dogs.
Kansas is? Wow.
Yes, sir. It's at Missouri.
Yes, it is.
All right, so Kansas is going to beat the hell out of Missouri. Kansas is going to beat the hell out of them. I think this is going to be a high-flying, high-scoring game because I don't think either one of these teams have a defense. And I really do believe that they're going to both put up 30 points. And I think that Daniels is the X factor to put him over the top. I don't think that there's a defense. So, like, if he gets through beating Missouri, I don't think there's a defense in the Big 12 that can stop him. He'll put up Heisman-like numbers. That's how good of a player he is from an offensive standpoint. Now, Kansas's defense, like they can't even be considered a blue chip because they have no blue chippers. Missouri has like less than 40% blue chip ratio. So it's not like you got like a bunch of blue chip SEC dogs playing against a bunch of trash in Kansas University. But I just think that the X factor is the quarterback. Daniels is that factor, man. So I'm looking for Kansas to win big. I'm going to say 38-24 Kansas. I believe Kansas scores a lot of points, scores a lot of touchdowns. And I look for them to do some big stuff this year concerning the Big 12. Maybe the dark horse sleeper to represent the Big 12 in the college football playoff. All right? So now, we done come to the game that B-Dirt came to the podcast for. You know, we had our shine last week as Buckeyes, right? We had the game of the week. It was against an SEC opponent. It was against the actual rival of the SEC opponent that we just smashed. But it's Oklahoma, Michigan, right? Dirt, I'm going to say this. I watched the rewind of the Michigan game. You got one.
Oh, yeah.
You got one. You got one in Underwood, boy. You got one.
Yeah.
So and so I'm going to kick it to you and let you kick this off, man.
You know, the measurables were pretty easy, right? You watch him running 40, you watch him throw, you see how he's got the big arm, all those kind of things, pedigree, what he did in high school, all great. Little things that I liked. Decision-making was quick. Reading the defense was quick. Sometimes almost too quick. And the other thing, like the throwing the block, a lot of people put like have put that on the reel as far as things they love about him. I'm not going to put that one on there. The one I'm going to put, there was a running play up the middle, got blown dead. and a safety came around the edge and started trying to punch at the ball and was actually like punching and hitting the running back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Underwood grabbed him by his pants and yanked him off the pile. That's the stuff I love. I love how it, like, he has that kind of teammates love him. Max Bredesen was his roommate during all of training camp stuff. So I like him a lot. I think the kid's going to have a really good career, college career. Now, listen, it gets murky when it starts transferring to pros. It's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in college, I agree with you, man. I think he's going to be a very, very good, if not great, college quarterback.
Yeah. Big Pun. I think he's way better than Terrell Pryor because he can throw the ball. Pryor struggled with throwing the ball, especially in timing routes, maybe not necessarily vertically, but in timing routes right off the back, he struggled. This kid is a little bit different.
Comp as far as size and athleticism, right on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But listen, Michigan scored. We were able to throw a forward pass.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. But there were some things that concerned me too about that game. Up the middle blocking, not great, right? Our right guard, Afobe. Sorry about that. Dog's barking in the background.
They good.
They just got home, man. They just got home.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have him listed in the scorebook at 315.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would, if the guy's over 290 or 295, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit undersized to play right guard against the big boys. I thought we looked stout, in the front seven of the defensive line. They had some problems with counter plays and misdirection plays where they overran, and that's kind of a signature of a Wink Martindale defense, right?
Yeah, facts.
Wink's guys are going to be aggressive, so they got to watch that and mind that against Oklahoma, and they got to play better in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, facts. All right,
so I think it's going to be a good game, though. I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, we just had to give a little spot to Underwood because he's the real deal. People can think. Listen, I love college football. I'm a diehard Buckeye fan, but I'm never going to discredit talent. This kid can play football, man. He's ready to go right now. So I like him. I like what they did schematically, right? But we're going to talk about the game. All right, so I'm gonna give Sarah the kickoff for the game because we're gonna see what he is, Dirk, going as a freshman, going into Norman, Oklahoma, against a team that's talking big yak. Because I already done seen the press clippings. Mateer said he gonna carve up Michigan's DBs. He already done said it. So Sarah, what you got for Oklahoma and Michigan?
So I think that's what it is. I think this game is definitely more of Oklahoma, can you actually prove it kind of the game more than I think for Michigan? Because, I think Underwood looked really, really good. I think the team as a whole looked a lot better this year. I think that they definitely have the rushing attack back. But I think this is going to be Oklahoma's, if you can't pull this game of the week off and you cannot do this like they did, come in this year with all of the strength and all of the hype like they did last year and just blew it up. I just think that it's going to make them, they're always going to end up being at the bottom of the barrel then in this SEC. I really like this Mateer kid. I think that, I don't know what the heck Washington State is doing, but they're pulling out these really, really good, solid quarterbacks these past couple of years.
Cam Ward, they're killers. Yeah, facts.
And I think that they definitely have someone back there. I think that he definitely put on a really good debut. I think that they still need some help on that rushing side on their offense. I know that, B-Dirt has his questions for that Michigan defense. I think this is what it's going to come down to, though, because I think that both of these offenses have some really great, solid players, and I think that they both know what they're doing. It's definitely going to be a bigger game for Underwood. and material. Like, this is actually probably a bigger game for him too, just because of the fact that he's playing some really, really bigger opponents now that he's in such a bigger conference. But it's going to be on how both of these defenses can actually really put up some pressure on both of these teams and who can actually be a little bit less mistake proof. So I'm really intrigued to see how they're going to pull that off. I think that Oklahoma, like, they did well with their defense, but they also were playing Illinois State. So again, it's going to be like, how well can you do against a team that actually has some of these blue chip players and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So, and my only question is right now with Michigan, is the tight end was their number one receiver this past week. Who are these weapons? Where are these? Well, no, Loveland's gone.
Right, I'm saying that was their guy last year.
I know, but
this year's Marlon Klein.
Yeah. So I want to see if he, can start pointing out some wide receivers this week, and it's really giving him a little bit more weapons on that end. I would really like to see, but I really was impressed by that Justice Haynes, and really want to see if he can really pull it off again this week against that Oklahoma. I definitely think it's going to be close. I am giving the edge just slightly to the home team just because of the fact that it is in Norman. But I think Michigan's definitely going to give them a really good battle. And I'm really intrigued by this team this year. Yeah. So I went with a 30-24 Oklahoma.
30-24 Oklahoma. Okay. B-Dirt, outside of Bryce Underwood, I mean, you probably could go on for hours about him. Why is Michigan going to win this game? You tell me why they're going to do it.
Why? How can they?
No, I'm saying they're going to do it, but that's just me. But I got a little bit more confidence.
Justice Haynes. I think him and Jordan Marshall will be the key to this game because they have to run the ball well enough to cover up the fact that Oklahoma can get pressure up the middle when we're passing, right?
Fact.
Now that I think is going to be the key to the game. Sarah, good point about the wide receivers. There were several drop balls. There was 3 or 4 that were big plays too. Yeah. Frederick Moore. Then we had the muff punt and the muff kickoff, and Andrew Marsh with the kickoff, who's a freshman. And there's a couple guys in there that, as freshmen, they're exciting, but they need a little bit more development, a little bit more size. I think Andrew Marsh is going to be a really good player next year. This year's a little bit early for him. I think he can still contribute, but I don't think he's quite there. So they're going to rely on Marlon Klein a lot. He's going to be the safety. He's going to be the binky, if you would.
Yeah,
that's just what it is.
The big pacifier.
Absolutely. Yep. But I think they got to run the ball effectively and play solid defense. Now, Sarah, I think, also hits the nail on the head when you're looking at this from a gambling perspective. Michigan's plus 5.5. Over under's 46.5. I like the over. Okay. That's what I like best out of all of this, because I think there's enough question marks on Michigan's defense and how they play that I think Oklahoma is going to throw the ball against them. It'll just be about whether they can get enough. It's the big play. Can they get the big splash play, the big sack, the big turnover, something along those lines? Michigan's got to do that on defense to win the game. And I think you're looking at a 35-31 game.
Who's the dub, though?
I'm not going to bet on who's going to get the dub.
I was waiting. I'm like, man, who's the dub?
I'm going to bet on it over. Freshman going into Norman, I probably give Oklahoma the benefit of the doubt there. We'll see how he's 18 years old. This is some real grown up stuff going on. So we're going to see how he handles it for sure. Listen, if he pulls this off, I'm going to come in here with peacock feathers behind me for the following week.
B-Dirt, man, Sarah, listen, I heard your points, man, and I hear it. It's something about this kid that's special, man. Underwood, first of all, let me say this. He played big-time high school football in Michigan. That's so the moment is not too big for him. He's played now. I'm not saying high school football is compared to going into Norman, Oklahoma, but he got his first game under his belt in the big house. The big house was rocking with that first game, and Dirk, you were there. You know that the moment wasn't too big for him
at all.
You know it wasn't. It wasn't. It was like he was at home. It's like he was like, this, I'm finally where I'm supposed to be.
Like, I'm built for this.
Correct. Now he does need a running game. He does need Justice Hayes, transfer from Alabama. Matthews, the kid from Cincinnati, Ohio. He needs those two kids to play big. But I think that he makes enough plays with his arm and with his legs, right? And something else too. I want to give a shout out to Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore gonna let his nuts hang in Oklahoma. He's an alumnus from there.
Yeah.
He played there. This is the game he didn't want to be suspended. There's a reason.
Yep.
There's a reason why he wanted to go to Oklahoma. There's a reason. So I'm telling you right now, and B-Dirt, unlike, because see, like I said, I love the Buckeyes, but I'm never going to be biased when it comes to actually seeing talent. Michigan's defense is not to be played with, bro. They're talking all that mess about those defensive backs. Bro, that front seven from Michigan, they ain't fell off, bro. Jayshon Brown, number 1. Derek Moore, number 8.
Might be suspended for the first half of the game.
Maybe
Yes,
because
I think it got it out.
yeah, he smacked the brake shoes off of that dude, man. Trey Williams, number 0. He's a dog. Payne, number 44. Dog, they got dogs. Michigan is not to be played with up front, bro. They're not to be.
You didn't even you mentioned my favorite, Houseman.
Houseman, number 15.
Linebacker, yeah.
Yeah, number
Man,
15.
he likes to hit people.
TJ Guy, a dog, too.
Him and
TJ
Brandon
Guy,
Delman love to hit people.
Yeah, they do. So
Benny.
yeah, and that's why I'm saying I think this is going to be a shootout. I think that the only way that you're going to win the game is either on Mateer's arm going vertically, but can he get vertically on Michigan? Or on Underwood's legs as well as his arm. His athletic ability to be able to turn the corner, I'm calling it right now. He's going to break at least a 40-yarder. I'm calling it right now on a zone read. He's going to pull the ball and break around that corner and break at least a 40-yarder. I'm calling it right now.
We were talking about it in the stands. It almost looked like he had the stop sign on because he was doing the zone read plays, and you could see him wince like sometimes after he handed the ball off because he was wide open to go around the end. But it almost seemed like they said, "Don't do that this game." We're gonna say,
yeah. They didn't show it. They did, but they didn't. Like I said, I watched the rewind and I saw it, and I was like, "Wait a minute." They don't realize how fast this kid actually is, too. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to break a big one. I don't know when it's going to be in that game, but I'm telling you, he's going to turn the corner on Oklahoma. He's going to do it. I already done seen it.
It'll be the team with the most splash plays, I think, wins.
Correct. So I'm calling. Yeah.
Plays.
Yep. I'm calling for a big score in this game. I'm going to say Michigan 31, Oklahoma 23. Give me Michigan to win the football game, man. I believe in them. I think they got one in Underwood. And I think Michigan has a legitimate chance to be a contender in the Big Ten this year. Not just out there playing football, but a legit contender. So they can't never say B-Dirt, Sarah. They can't never say G's a hater. Because I recognize talent and I see talent. And Michigan got some talent. So that's just what I'm saying. All right, y'all. We done come to the end of the pod. B-Dirt, I'm going to throw it back to you first. Give any final thoughts, anything you want to say concerning Michigan, or as we close out the Level Up College Football Podcast for this Monday, bro.
I'm going to say something, and I heard it mentioned a little bit on another show, but Miami and Texas, both historically good college programs.
Yeah.
I'm tired of saying that they're back, that they're finally back. Will one of them just turn the damn corner already and be back?
Facts,
and just
man.
be back and stay there.
Facts.
Because football's better when they're there.
Yeah.
Especially Miami. I love when Miami's good because they're fun.
Yeah.
So that's my final thought, man. Can one of those two teams please just turn the damn corner?
Right now, Miami might be way around that corner more than Texas, Dirk. They might be way more around.
I tell you,
Sarah,
they got some exciting wide receivers I like now.
they sure the hell do. Miami, and listen, Carson Beck ain't no joke, but that's why they need to rewind and watch the beginning of the Level Up College Football podcast, because my girl Sarah pointed that out. Sarah, your final thoughts as we get off this week's Level Up College Football podcast. Finish up week 2 to move to week 2 to move to week 3.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I'm actually really excited about the game of the week. I'm really excited to see what Michigan can do, but I'm also really excited to see what the Oklahoma team can do, because they're the other ones. You talk about the Texas and the Miami. These are all these teams that used to have all these hype, and they've like literally fallen off the wayside. So I'm really excited to see some of these programs finally make their way back into it. And I think Oklahoma is one of them that can possibly do it this year. So I'm really excited by, even though if, they lose or anything like that. And that's what the other thing I love about this college football is, because of the fact that Texas lost, Clemson lost, Notre Dame lost, but that doesn't mean anything anymore. And I love the fact that you can say that now. And this is like my favorite thing about college football now, is the fact that it's turning into a little bit more, every week. I don't know who's going to be the team that's going to be the upset, who the team's going to be at the top. And I love the fact that we don't know now until those last final weeks. So I'm just really excited for the season, and I'm really excited for the fact that every week there seems to be a really good few games coming up, and even just a couple little ones. So can't wait.
Yeah, facts. Listen, make sure you guys check us out every week on the College Football Level Up podcast. We're here every Monday exclusively on the KnoItAllz channel and on the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you do, because you can get your college football podcast feel every Monday. There's other shows that go on. Of course, we do Steelers-centric shows. Of course, we talk about the AFC North shows. Of course, we do all of that. You can find my boy B Dirt every Friday on the Homies podcast. It's broadcasted live on the KnoItAllz channel. But right now, we're talking about college football. So make sure you check out Level Up every Monday at 6 o'clock. Listen, my final thoughts is this. There are teams this year that can win it that we're not expecting. Nobody saw Florida State. Nobody believed it. Nobody saw Miami. Nobody believed it. These teams talking to being deemed as the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 teams, I want to see what you have to do once you face adversity. When you face adversity and you're able to win or able to pull through, because B Dirt will tell you, I've been rocking with him a podcast. Sarah will tell you too, for 2 seasons. I said there will never be another undefeated college football team ever. It's over. The last one was hail to the victors, 2023 Michigan Wolverines. It's over. It's never going to happen again, because the competitiveness and the competitive nature in college football is more than what we've ever expected. The transfer portal changed some stuff. NIL changed some stuff. The extended playoff stuff has changed some stuff. Now it's survive and advance. Make your adjustment, survive and advance, and get to the next week. And that's what I love about college football. It's making it turn into one of the greatest games ever. So, like I said, every week, you can catch us on Level Up. We talk college football centric. It's sort of my dojo and my wheelhouse, but I couldn't do it without my girl, Sarah C., my boy, B Dirt, that comes on the show every week. My boy, Richard Glover, will be on the show real soon to talk college football. We'll get guests from time to time, like the big trash Longhorn dudes that came on, my brother Mod that came on talking last week. But we're going to talk college football centric on this channel alone every Monday, live on YouTube. As for me, Big G, as for my boy B Dirt, and my co-host Sarah C., we thank all you guys for rocking with us on another week of the Level Up College Football Podcast, and we'll see you on Monday. Peace.